Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. I am so honored to have Richie Shane in the house. Welcome to the show. All the way from New York.
Ricky or Richie?
Richie.
Okay,
Richie.
I like it.
Okay. I like it too.
Very appropriate for Wealth Wednesday. You're so Richie, Rich. Just kidding.
So, the New York Press Club voted you one of the most inspirational stories of the year. You are one of the first and only people to be cured of epilepsy. Wow, that leaves me speechless.
Well, thanks, Jez. I've been given a huge blessing, and I embrace it, and I've got to earn that blessing every day. So, I had 3,000 seizures for 22 years. I was on every possible medicine, and nothing controlled my seizures. And by the way, 1% of the population has epilepsy. And you don't hear about it a lot because people are afraid to talk about it. There's a stigma associated with it. So I was on every possible med. 70% of the people with epilepsy can have it controlled with medicine. I fell into that 30%.
For the viewers out there who are watching, what is epilepsy?
Great question. Epilepsy is defined as 2 or more seizures of unknown origin. It's an electrical discharge in your brain, and it can manifest itself in a lot of different ways. It could be as simple as spacing out for a second, not being aware of what's going on, or it could be as severe as falling to the ground and having convulsions. And then in between, it could be like a moaning sound and loss of awareness. So I had a combination of all of those for 22 years, a total of what I'm aware of, 3,000. I don't know how many I had in my sleep and so on.
And you have no idea how it began?
For me, no, it just out of nowhere. You could be born with epilepsy, it could be a blow to your head, or idiopathic, comes out of nowhere, which was the case for me.
How old were you when it started?
Mine was 22, right after college. It happened once every 3 weeks. Ultimately, after a couple of years, I was having 20 a month, and I had my license taken away. But I was able to, it's a choice. Who's going to win, you or the epilepsy, or whatever the challenge is?
Did it cause you to feel depressed? During that period of time when you're having all these seizures, what was your emotional state like? I can't imagine.
I was going to win. That was my attitude.
Yeah. Wow.
I viewed it as almost like my allergy. My license was taken away, I couldn't drink, and I never hid it. I would be on a first date, for example. She would order a wine or a Cosmopolitan or whatever and order a soda. Oh, you don't drink? No, I have epilepsy. Makes me tired, and it may interfere with my meds and may cause a seizure. If she has a problem with it, you don't want that person in your life. And I was a wrestler, so I took that wrestling mentality and approached it with epilepsy.
Wow.
Who's going to win, me or the epilepsy?
Wow.
And so I was fortunate enough, while having these seizures, to start my business and grow it from a small circulation media to now one largest circulation travel media in the country, 2 million homes, online, 1 million digital impressions every week, work with all the major cruise lines, resorts, luxury vacations. I would have seizures, talk to somebody, and have a seizure, hang up the phone without realizing it, and then there's temporary amnesia when you have a seizure. So I'd have to hit redial because I didn't remember who I was talking to. Hi, it's Richie. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hang up on you. I just had a seizure. What were we talking about? Fortunately, so no medicine was controlling it. It was becoming more frequent. I had a healthy dose of denial, but I had a girlfriend at the time who encouraged me to be more aggressive following up on how to control this. I switched doctors in New York. I located the gentleman, Dr. Erin Show out of NYU, who is certainly the world's #1 epilepsy doctor, epileptologist. He's also #1 in autism, and he's also just probably the #1 neurologist in the world. And I cried to him and said, please, Dr. Show, I don't want to have brain surgery. Find some magical panacea for me. We reviewed my meds, tried a few more things, and ultimately he said to me, after a couple of years of more trying, he said to me, Richie, no medicine will control your seizures. They're in the emotional portion of your brain, so it's going to change who you are. So I left his office and I cried to my girlfriend at the time and I said, I'm going to have to do this. It's a matter of which stinks less, epilepsy or brain surgery. 10% of the people with epilepsy are candidates for brain surgery. To be a candidate has to be a safe place in the brain to get at. Lots of testing to determine that. And then, so more and more people, with research, more people can become candidates for surgery and the outcomes could be more successful. There was 2 brain surgeries for me. I was in the operating room probably 24 hours, a full day between the 2 surgeries. They ultimately removed 3 inches of my brain. And that was March 23rd is 14 years. I went from 20 seizures a month to none.
Wow.
No seizures, no meds. The only side effect is this great appreciation for what I've been through. And I've never felt better.
You know what's fascinating? I think it's so fascinating that you were 22 when it kind of began, when they came on, because I'm a huge, I'm not a big numerologist, but I find that there's a pattern very commonly in people's callings. So at 22, this began, and then for 22 years you dealt with seizures, and then so at that point you're 44, and then you go on to this next chapter of your life. I too had a stillbirth at 22, and then at 44 became a doctor of divinity and became a teacher. Like, it was a clearly chapter. So what do you feel like for you out of it? I believe there's a purpose and a calling, obviously, that came out of it. What is that purpose and calling for you?
It's a great question, Erin. So while in the hospital, I asked myself selfishly, why me? Why do I have wires in my brain? Why am I going through this? And I realized how selfish I was. Why not me? And then I realized, me, because I hope I can show people how to handle a lobotomy, how to handle 2 brain surgeries, and then hopefully go through it with grace, dignity, strength, and courage, which I hope I did, and to help people with this experience that I've gotten. And I have to earn the blessing. Why did I get cured when I have a friend who his son actually had the same surgery that I had, and was doing okay for a little while, and then unfortunately after a couple of years passed away. Epilepsy kills more people than breast cancer.
Wow, I did not know that.
Epilepsy kills more people than breast cancer. 10% of those people who have epilepsy will die. There's something called SUDEP, sudden unexplained death in epilepsy. While sleeping, and medicine doesn't know why it happens, but while sleeping, the individual dies. And that happened to a friend of mine. It's very sad. And so 10%, you don't hear a lot about it because people are afraid to talk about epilepsy.
Why?
There's a stigma. Even up until about, I think it's now 15 years, the Catholic Church wouldn't allow people with epilepsy to become clergy because the canon rules had said that you're possessed by the devil.
Amazing.
Tony Colo, congressman from out here, had a political mission with the Pope a couple of popes ago, John Paul, I believe. And during that mission, explained that he wanted to be a priest, but wasn't allowed to because he had epilepsy. And the Pope changed the canon rules.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
That's so cool.
Yeah, Tony Colo did that.
Yeah.
It's interesting. This, so, you know, I hear you saying so many interesting and fascinating things, and part of it, I wonder what role faith did play in this experience for you. I clearly hear you saying, you know, I had a mentality that I was going to win, period, and that to me is faith. But what role did faith? Was there spiritual, religious?
Spiritual is the word that I would use.
Yeah.
I had people of almost all faiths praying for me. I'm Jewish. I went to temple before the surgery to pray for success. And I remember saying to the rabbi, I feel guilty coming here now because I need something. And the rabbi said, no, we're here whenever you feel a desire to be here. And I now go once a month because I got what I prayed for, and I want to say thank you. My girlfriend at the time is Catholic. I would go with her before the surgery, holding her hand. We went to St. Patrick's in New York. She would light a candle, say a prayer. Her prayers were answered. So faith, to me, it's spiritual. Be a good person, and if you're a good person, good things will follow. And I was able to handle it, I feel, because it wasn't easy. But again, being a wrestler, it's mano a mano, and this to me was the same thing. It was, somebody has to win. I'm going to make sure it's me.
I'm so happy that you won, and now you're still giving back to the community. LaLa, you're supporting the runner who's running in the Boston Marathon backwards. Tell us about it.
Thank you. Yes. So a friend of mine who also, he lost his brother to the same thing, shoot up, and Lauren is running the Boston Marathon backwards.
What?
Not just running it backwards, but he's going after the, believe it or not, there's a world record. Guinness has the world record for running a marathon backwards.
Wow.
So Lauren is running the Boston Marathon backwards to raise money and awareness on behalf of epilepsy. It's bostonbackwards.com, Lauren. And, how inspiring is that?
That's unbelievable. I mean, I don't even, I wouldn't want to drive the distance of the marathon in my car on most days. To run it is one thing. To run it backwards is a whole other.
You'll go 26.2 miles quicker in LA running it than in your car.
Right,
No question.
True. So true.
And I encourage you, you're fit. Do it. If I can do it, you can do it. And that's the mentality. And it's great. As great as it is for your body, it's even better for your head. And I've done the past 5 New Yorks. I will continue doing it until I can't. This March, I'm going to run Jerusalem, and it's a buzz. If you have the time, do it.
Talk about buzz. Your gala, spectacular, and it's for charity.
So my charity, it's called FACES, Finding a Cure for Epilepsy and Seizures. It's headquartered out of NYU, but it's the world's largest epilepsy charity. Each March, first Tuesday in March, we have in New York a gala which raises in this one night over $5 million.
Whoa.
And what's really most beautiful about it is I was fortunate a couple of years ago to bring Jane Seymour, the actress.
Dr. Quinn, medicine woman.
Oh, no, Jezlan.
So Jane came with me as my guest a couple of years ago. And she looked around this room and she said to me, Richie, I've been to a lot of events in my life around the world. I've never seen so much love in a room as I see here. And that reflects a couple of things. It reflects the epilepsy community, which it's a tight fraternity, because, again, a lot of people don't talk about it, and it's for a parent to see their child having convulsions. I mean,
So scary.
You have a child to see. But first thing I tell a parent when they have a baby, I said, I've had 3,000 of those. Please understand, your child feels no pain or discomfort. And he or she, in most cases, can still become a rock star, but I had to work probably 15-20% harder than if I didn't have seizures. And the beauty of now that I'm cured, I can see the difference. I am much more productive. My business has never been better.
And you're a rock star in New York. What brings you to LaLa Land?
New York is awesome. 9 months out of the year.
9? I'll give you 7.
It's really pretty Christmas time.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
And then December 26th, you jump on a plane.
Right?
And maybe actually between Thanksgiving and Christmas, you also leave.
Yeah.
But
Gotta catch a flight to change the forecast
right.
in New York.
So I'm fortunate that I can work from anywhere. I don't have to be in New York. I mean, if I had a family in New York, which I would love, then I would stay there, or LA, or wherever it is. So why not? Part of what I've been through is Max. I owe it. Dr. Davinsky had said to me on my 2nd anniversary when I thanked him for curing me, he said, now what you, Richie, need to do is show people how to lead a wonderful life. And how to thank the generations of people who did the research, who raised the money for the research. We're talking, tens of thousands of people at least. I thank them by having a great life, by maximizing my life and trying to help others, not just with epilepsy, but any challenge.
For sure. So how would somebody that is dealing with epilepsy or knows somebody, where would you recommend for them to go? What communities, what would you recommend?
That's a great question. It starts with realizing everybody has something. Don't freak out over it. Second is it's a choice. You or the epilepsy will win. Make sure you win. Third, when you're going to your general physician, he or she should send you then to either an epileptologist, which is a neurologist that specializes in epilepsy, or a super neurologist. And this quality of care differs. There are what's called comprehensive epilepsy centers throughout the country, a handful of them. In LA, I believe UCLA has one. In New York, it's NYU. And get a full treatment plan. You'll have EEG, MRI, I don't want to get too detailed, but 70% of the people can have it controlled. Give it your best shot. And if the worst that you have is epilepsy, you're ahead of the game.
It's incredible.
Well, it's such beautiful work, and I'm so inspired, and
Thank
can't
you.
wait to find out more the gala and all that kind of stuff. And you also spend time in Aspen, right? So
Yes.
yeah.
So I am fortunate to spend. I love New York. Again, now that I'm seizure free, I got my license back. I keep a boat in Manhattan. Go to the Statue of Liberty and watch the sunset after work each night. And the name of the boat, Freedom of the Seas, SEIZE.
So great.
Freedom of the Seas.
Right.
And talk about spiritual, to go out there and watch the sun setting behind the lady, and you have downtown New York behind you. All you can do is say, thank you.
Right.
Now you're seizing the moment.
In a better way.
Much better.
And you're traveling the world with the world's greatest vacations. Tell us a little bit about why this company is so unique and special.
Thanks, Jez. So this is received twice a year by 1.1 million high net worth active vacation travelers. The company's 27 years old, so I started it when I was about 15. And
Actually.
yes, and it's exclusively for luxury cruise lines, resorts, tour operators. We screen only allowing the best in here, so consumers know it's only the best. And by the way, direct mail.
Right.
The response rate in 25 years ago, across the board, 0.5%.
Wow.
I'm going to put you on the spot. What do you think it is today?
4%.
It was
You
one
rained
half.
on my parade.
She's good. She's a businesswoman.
Well, yeah, it's 5.5%.
Wow.
But most people think, well,
Interesting.
It would be
you know,
less.
it'd be less.
It's like no one sends mail anymore.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
This breaks through the clutter. So, and millennials love it because it's novel. Here, you're a millennial.
No, actually, this is one of my favorite things to do.
why she's all good.
My girlfriend Tara would save her little packages for me, so I could go over there when we would have tea, and I just flip through them. I don't know why, but it speaks to me.
Because it's novel. You can touch and
I
feel
love
it. It's
it.
not this.
Well, and then when you open this, I mean, talk about dreams. If you could give me one wish It would
thank
be
you.
to go here.
Would you like to go on a seaborne cruise to Tahiti?
Yes, I would.
Okay, let's do this.
We'll see you later. I'll do that. And then after my seaborne cruise in Tahiti,
And then go to Hilton or Cunard, the Queen Mary 2. Maybe you'd like to go to Southampton, London, or Southampton, England from New York, and after we finish Tahiti.
after Tahiti, okay.
Okay.
Sign me up. I mean,
Colette Vacations, and so on. Scenic, Panama Jack, Princess Cruises, Trafalgar Tours. In any event, Hurtigruten, in any event, you can see it's only luxury. And you know what? Comes back to what I've been through. I have to be accountable. And I can't be selfish. It's you have to be accountable. So it carries over into business. I'll say to my clients, look, if you don't get the results that I'm telling you you're going to get, I won't bill you. And that's part of the difference of why the company is approaching 30 years. And I'm being in the moment. I am very appreciative and fortunate, and I want others, whatever the medical challenge is, the big idea that I have is, and I've spoken to Dr. Davinsky about this, and I want to bring it to others. If we can do something, let's apolitically get researchers, if someone's doing research on pediatric cancer in Iran, and someone's doing pediatric cancer research in Israel, they're going to drop their issues and talk finding a cure. That's my goal.
That
so
would make,
wonderful.
All the
that would
countries.
make so many
beautiful.
people's wishes come true. Richie, if you had 3 wishes, what would they be?
Wow. Okay, and then I'm going to ask the same of you.
We'll see if we have time for that.
Okay, so I want 3 wishes. A wish could be anything in the world. That there's heaven. That makes everything else. That there's heaven, world peace. That'll help cure everything if everyone talks to one another, and perfect health and happiness for me and my family. Can I have a 4th?
That's true wealth right there. Perfect health and wellness.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for all your time and beautiful work, and just such an inspiration for knowing that anyone can be unstoppable, for sure. So we're going to take a break, you guys. When we come back, we're going to wrap up this day and knowing true wealth is within all of us. So stay tuned.